going to get on to the next hot topic speaker. He's on his own. It is Geoffrey Ching. I'm honored to introduce him because Geoffrey is a second-year UBC student whose passion lies in giving youth a voice in the conversation about mental health and destigmatizing mental illness. We all know that there's a lot of stigma and as we talked about earlier, the shame around mental illness, and he works on that. So as a senior in high school, Geoffrey founded the Youth Mental Health Association, starting with one club at his high school, Sir Winston Churchill High School. Any students from there today? Woo! Hey guys! Awesome. And over the past 2 years, Geoffrey has managed to grow this into a nonprofit organization that now works with upwards of 20 clubs in the Lower Mainland. And from my experience with doing similar things at SFU, I know that's not easy, so he's put in a lot of hard work. They also take on smaller projects with the aim of giving youth a voice in the conversation about mental health. So Geoffrey is here to tell us all about that, so let's give him a huge, warm welcome to Geoffrey Ching, everybody.
Thank you. Nice to see you all today, and it's really cold here. So change. What's changed to you? I heard a lot during Obama's 2008 presidential campaign, but what's changed to you as youth? What can we do to create change? Like, I hear often that we can't create change because we don't have the resources, we're not educated enough. There's a whole bunch of factors that apparently block us from creating change, but I firmly disagree. And I'm here to tell you why today in a little story. So, through my grade 10 and 11 years, a lot of my friends had come up to talk to me about how they'd be going through episodes of depressive and anxious feelings. Now, naturally, I wanted to help them. I couldn't really do so. I didn't have the training. I did the best I could, and I directed them to my counselor. But what stood out to me was that they couldn't talk about their feelings openly because they were so afraid of being stigmatized. And I really wanted that to change. What really struck me again was that in the summer of my grade 11 year, my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. And she had the greatest of physical care. She went through chemotherapy, she went through a mastectomy, and she's now cancer-free. But throughout the whole process of treatment, there was little to no regard for her mental health, despite the fact that our healthcare system purports to have a holistic sense. That means it takes care of both mental and physical health. And this really surprised me because she had gone through several depressive episodes and there had been little to no formal care. And I really wanted that to change. So in my grade 12 year, I thought up something. I thought of setting up a mental health awareness club, and this is why. I thought that we as youth may not have resources, but it doesn't matter because we as youth are a tight community. We are the future of our society because we're going to grow up and become adults. That's inevitable. But yeah, we're going to grow up and become our future. And if we can change our attitudes about mental health and mental illness, we're going to be able to change our society in the future. And if we can change our attitudes, we can change the attitudes of our communities. We can change the attitudes of those older than us and those younger than us. And through that, we can create change. So I started the Mental Health Awareness Club at my school in order to destigmatize mental illness and to teach others about mental health. And through a couple emails, we managed to get into contact with the Mood Disorders Association British Columbia, as well as the Canadian Mental Health Association, and we put on 2 events, one of them being an assembly, in which we brought in a student speaker, as well as speakers from the Mood Disorders Association British Columbia, and they talked about their experiences with mental health. And in doing this, they humanized mental illness. After that assembly, in which 150 people came and 8 teachers came down, we got a lot of positive reviews about how people were struck by the human nature or the human facet of mental illness and how the term really doesn't do justice to what mental illness is. So in addition to that, we managed to set up a booth at our school summer fair. It was just something really small. We had a couple games down. It was just to, again, destigmatize mental illness. So during that summer, after all of that had gone by, I was working as a barista at Starbucks, and I was spelling names wrong. I was I was dealing with angry customers. But what really struck me was that I wouldn't be able to continue the work that I had done that year. And I really wanted that to continue. So I worked with 8 students, 8 friends who I knew from different high schools all over the Lower Mainland, and we managed to set up clubs throughout those 8 schools, again, with the purpose of destigmatizing mental illness and making sure that mental health is taught about more often in schools. So fast forward a few years later, 2 years actually, just 2 years. We've managed to grow our little association of 8 schools into a nonprofit titled the Youth Mental Health Association. And what we do is, our main project is the Mental Health Network. So we aim to bring together clubs from all of the Lower Mainland in UBC and different secondary schools. And we hope to work with those schools to share ideas, to create a community of youth which can change the future of how mental health and mental illness are viewed. And in doing so, hopefully we can create change. And that's just one of the projects that we do. We also provide these youth with help in terms of designing projects, and we also work with larger organizations to try to create change in different manners. Now, if you take one thing away from this, just remember that I am a youth like you and that you can create change just like me. Mental illness is something that we need to deal with. And there's nothing stopping you from creating change like I have so far. It just takes a little bit of persistence and a little bit of courage to go and talk to your counselor or principal, because they're not that scary. Often they're very supportive. And that change for our future will come from you, because we as youth are the future of society. Thank you.
Thank you, Geoffrey. How was that, guys? Yeah. Again, another example of a youth leading the charge, right? A youth opening up this dialogue with other youth, and that's what we're seeing a lot happening, and it's inspiring to see. So thank you, Geoffrey.